F1 shocking news. Masi returns. Mercedes is furious and frustrated. Lewis Hamilton has called allegations that he would not welcome Michael Masi's return as race director inaccurate, adding, "I've not given it any thought." According to the Daily Mail, the 7-time Formula One world champion reacted fiercely and was astonished to learn that Masi's career in F1 may not be over. Masi was fired by the FIA following the contentious events of the 2021 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. FIA President Mohammed bin Sulayem told Racing News 365.com exclusively, "We have Niles and Eduardo, and they are good. But what if something happens to either of them?" Well, welcome back to Formula One News. Now, let's discuss in depth the news concerning Masi's likely comeback. If we accept bin Sulayem's words as a prophecy of the future, something Mercedes, F1, and its supporters never imagined that was likely to happen. What is Mercedes' reaction to this? Masi, an Australian, was fired in February for his participation in the contentious 2021 World Cup final in Abu Dhabi. Following the contentious finish of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, the FIA began an inquiry to uncover any misconduct. Masi was forced to step down as race director as a result of this. Last season, the Australian was frequently chastised, but his actions in the season finale proved to be the last straw. Both Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes backed the decision to relieve Masi of his duties. Logical, given that his performance was sharply chastised by both the broken Hamilton and the fierce Toto Wolff. After the Formula One season finale, Mercedes found itself in a lose-lose scenario as it contemplated legal action. The team's fury and dissatisfaction were clearly visible. Team boss Toto Wolff held a lengthy phone chat with the media following the revelation that Mercedes would not appeal the judgment of the race stewards in Abu Dhabi over the classification of the Grand Prix, following race director Michael Masi's management of the safety car period. This call may be seen on YouTube. Seeing Wolff and hearing him talk, slow, deliberate, but also stop and go, is essential to comprehending how real his fury and pain were. It's not enough to state he often struggled to find the perfect words. For more than 30 minutes, we were able to speak with Wolff in English. As a result, there were aspects of the project that went far more smoothly than others. His words struggled to convey his feelings again, as if he didn't know how to. That still feels like a nightmare. That's why I was stunned on Sunday and remain so to this day. In the week of Sunday's race, Hamilton's fandom has unleashed a visceral fury on everyone who isn't entirely on his side. In light of yesterday's revelations, Wolff and Mercedes have come under fire for dropping their appeal and being complicit in Hamilton's unfair defeat. Two factors need to be taken into account. Because F1 is controlled by the FIA, there is no way for an outside legal entity to take action against the FIA unless there was a non-sporting crime committed. Because of this, the Court of Arbitration for Sport, or CAS, was not an option. Only doping-related problems are handled by the CAS in Formula One, which is a very narrow mandate. Second, the FIA laws don't appear to provide any avenues for changing the outcome of the race, such that Lewis Hamilton, rather than Max Verstappen, emerged victorious. No matter how many times you say that you should take the classification from the penultimate lap, no one is going to listen if no system is in place. At all costs, the FIA would have hoped to avoid an unprecedented decision. A panel created by the FIA would review the FIA steward's decision to defend the FIA race director, and that panel would very probably not modify the results of the race or of the championship. There is little use in pursuing the appeal because Mercedes is in the ethically correct position and is virtually sure to be superior to the other side in a regular trial. If it doesn't lose, then the ostensible victory would not be one that would be considered a victory at all. Wolff's mind that he can appreciate the frustrations of many, and to be honest, he is also in two minds between his viewpoint and his judgment on the legal right, doesn't mean that he will necessarily get what he deserves. Unfortunately, he doesn't believe that the government is now set up in a way that would allow people to regain the victory that was robbed. By holding the FIA and its decision makers responsible, decision makers' responsibility that they will be making the sport more robust and consistent in their decision making. Mercedes feels the best way to prevent a repetition of the incident is to put pressure on the FIA to complete its promised in-depth examination, which they believe can be done outside of the appeal process. A few days ago, it seemed Mercedes might have to make a deal with the FIA in order to dismiss its appeal. If so, will they press for a change in the race director? And if so, what part of the 2026 engine requirements may be used to its advantage? As far as Wolff is concerned, decisions can no longer be taken in the back room in this day and age of openness, he added. Many of Hamilton's admirers will be disappointed by this. However, this isn't enough for Mercedes-Benz. When confronted with an injustice that will not be remedied, what else can one do than look for a silver lining in the process? I am positive because all stakeholders in the sport have shared displeasure with all the decisions that have been taken over the year, and everyone knows what occurred, Wolff explained. As a result, I'm confident that we will be pulling in the same direction. My crew and the drivers have given me input. Rule number 1, observe and obey. It has been assured by F1 CEO Stefano Domenicali and FIA Secretary General Peter Bayer that in next weeks and months, loopholes that have widened over the previous several years would be closed. It's critical that the rules are consistently applied, and no decisions should be made that aren't in accordance with the rules merely for fun. This is a forceful statement, yet it is only that, a statement. Mercedes had the opportunity to put them into operation, but decided against it. However, despite what has been detailed above, there are still many who believe Mercedes has given the FIA the benefit of the doubt. There are those who believe Mercedes has snubbed the FIA. According to the facts, the FIA was never going to be pawned off for ransom by anyone. So Mercedes has been obliged to swallow a harsh pill and be strategic in order to avoid losing ground. It was extremely difficult to compromise your legal position in such a circumstance, adds Wolff, to ask the FIA to concede culpability while the appeal was a possibility. The FIA would not have undertaken this in-depth investigation if Mercedes had pursued an appeal, a futile endeavor, because doing so would implicitly admit to wrongdoing or failure, which is extremely perilous during ongoing judicial processes. As a result, this study is widely believed to be the greatest hope for a long-term improvement in F1 and averting a repetition of what happened in the championship final. Even while a full entrance is desirable for a racer like Wolff, the situation just doesn't allow it at this time. I believe that we've made progress. Considering the severity of the failures on Sunday night, this is a tiny start. Better to take a small step than not to take any action at all. No one will be pleased with the diplomacy being conducted here, but Mercedes has made it quite obvious that it is really displeased. When Mercedes uses languages like robbed by the race director, it questions its trust in racing and warns F1 is not wrestling because entertainment needs to follow the sport, not the other way around. It's a bad place for Formula One to be. Anger and anger from F1's most successful driver and its most successful engine provider and the most successful team in the sport's history should not be taken lightly. The FIA's willingness and ease in justifying and defending the application of the regulations in an unprecedented manner that had the greatest sporting impact is deeply concerning. Mercedes may have accepted that decision legally, but it still feels like a long way from reconciliation emotionally, to say nothing of how hard the governing body will have to work from here. So, I think we're at the end of the video, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, then please give this video a thumbs up and smash that subscribe button, and press the bell icon so you'll never miss any update. And if you have any questions or queries on your mind, let me know in the comment box, and also check out our channel where you'll find more really cool stuff.